same time means no dead air. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What's the vibe? Turn that down a notch. Let me know down in the chat how you guys are doing, how you're feeling, how are the energies treating you guys today. Hi Mary, how you doing? How you feeling? Haven't seen you in a while. Let me know down in the chat, okay? I'm doing good, huh? Thank you for asking. All right. Let me know how you're doing down in the chat. Welcome in, welcome in. You're not okay? What's going on? Yeah, my crystal from rolling over. If I don't know. I don't know. My rose quartz crystal is very big here, but trying to like keep her in my lap is a struggle sometimes. And then did I shuffle these more? You said you weren't okay. You said he's stressing you out. Oh girl, nah. Ain't even worth it. Gotta protect your peace, hon. Right. Yeah. And that indecisiveness gonna get him left out in the cold, right? Because that's weird. Especially since, like, you know what you want, Mary. Like, don't settle for somebody who doesn't even know what they want, okay? Hi, lady. Sharon, am I saying that right? Let me know down in the chat how you doing, how you feeling. Okay. I do want to know, guys, so let me know how you guys are doing, how you're feeling down in the chat. We are about to get started with today's collective reading. I was just trying to see how Mary was doing. Shuffle the cards some here. Welcome in, welcome in. Let me know how y'all doing down in the chat. How are the energies treating you? Alrighty. I know there's a lot going on in this world. Alright. If you ever need to vent or, just talk about life, okay, we do have a support corner in our Discord server, right in our Brady Bunch hideout. The link to that is in the bio. No matter where you're at, either TikTok or YouTube, the link to that is in the bio, in my page bio, okay? Alrighty. Hi, Jelena. Hope I'm saying that right. How you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. So we are going to be doing our collective reading first, and then we will be moving into the personal readings right after, okay? For TikTok, it is 5 roses for yes or no question after the collective reading, okay? And YouTube is still going to be $1 for a yes or no question for through the Cash App or PayPal. Link is in the bio, or any for YouTube or for TikTok, right? You could send $3 or $5 to the Cash App or PayPal for a 3 card or no, I think I said that wrong. Hold on. How you doing? I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce that right. Pro. How you feeling? I'm doing good. Let me know down in the chat how you're doing. So what did I say? for 3 card or 5 card reading, it's $5 or $10 to the Cash App or PayPal link in bio. Okay, so that's always going to be available on Thursdays. The dollar for YouTube is always the same, right? Until you guys can send gifts on the live. So that's why we have to do it that way. Okay. He said he traveled for a 1 month and then he never texted you during that month, and then he came back and you never heard from him. Yeah, sis. I'm a all I can tell you there is to respect yourself, right? Know your worth, okay? Love yourself, right? They ain't doing it right, you're gonna have to leave them where they at. Simple as that. Okay, I would have bet. I would have been moving. You don't text me for an entire month, bro. After you went on vacation and everything, best believe you better believe you're single after that. Like wholeheartedly, you better believe you're single after that, cause I do. Like I believe I'm single after that. Like no, no. Like you don't think you're coming back after something like that, personally, right? A month, 30 whole days, you didn't think about me one time, not to ever text, you know what I'm saying, call, check in, nothing, and then you come back from your vacation, still don't say anything to me. Oh, I'm getting ghosted. Oh. Boop. Like that sounds like you're not invested in this relationship anymore, period. That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. Move like that and I will cut you off. You know what I'm saying? That's enough for me. That's a clear sign for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no more signs, you know? After that. Right. And that's, what we've been teetering on for a while, since you've been getting readings and everything from me, is that he's just not as serious as you are in this relationship, and I'd rather you not waste any more of your energy on him, especially after that move. You know what I'm saying? That was just, you could have, he could have sent a text or something. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he just wasn't invested in the relationship and he had his other things going on, he could have made that known instead of disappearing. Like, okay, well now no, you don't exist in my head at all. Like you don't exist in my realm of thinking anymore. Like you're gone. Like you're just another speck of the universe now. Like so it's like, yeah, I understand, hon. I understand. Yeah, but definitely respect yourself, know your worth, right? Because hanging on to that when they are clearly showing you the type of person they are, right? Is it good for your mental health? Is not good for your solar plexus chakra, right? Which is self confidence, right? So all of that is just going to muck you up if you don't do what's best for you, okay? And that's moving on, okay? Alrighty. I just know if I put myself in your shoes, girl, I would have been like, and block? And block? Because no. No way. No way. You said there's too much going on in this world to be playing games with people's hearts. Like, it's too much. Hi, Kumwiz, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our collective reading. We got plenty of time to talk during our personal readings. Let's go ahead and get into the collective. Okay. All right. Here is my crystal. I call upon our great divine, our most high, our divine ancestors, and our divine Give us the divinely accurate messages that each and every soul needs to hear today, not what they want to hear, Spirit, but what they need to hear in order to grow, learn, and evolve along their journeys. Please allow me to deliver these messages in a divinely eloquent manner that allows for each and every soul to understand and interpret the messages that are needed to be in accordance with your will for their destiny timeline. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And so it is. Ashe. What's up, Spirit? Okay, I do got 4 decks out. Alrighty. Hi, Darlene. How you doing? How you feel him? I do. I get it. Um, moving on could be hard, especially when you truly cared about the person. Trust me, yeah, I understand. Okay. Alrighty. If I would have done the work, I'd probably be with the person I wanted to be with, right? But Spirit was like, nah, you guys were just there to teach each other lessons anyway. And it was like, yeah, but I truly cared about him and stuff like that. So it was hard, but hey, you gotta move on especially when you guys are just meant to teach each other lessons, or if they were just meant to teach you a lesson, you know what I'm saying? So you do have to move on. It is hard, but you got to do the work, okay? The shadow work, okay? More precisely, right? It's just that whole situation came on very fast after getting out of a very toxic relationship. So it was like I was still healing from that toxic relationship, and was not ready to get into a relationship that could have been unconditional loving, but I'll never know now. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that I just needed someone to listen. I just needed someone to make me want to open up about vulnerability, right? And be vulnerable with people, right? Because after that whole toxic relationship that rather, right, that I was in, opening up and being vulnerable was hard for me. So like having them there was that push. And when they moved on because they were growing, and I was not growing where I needed to be at the time, right, to meet them halfway, right, that was my lesson. You know what I'm saying? Either do the work, you know what I'm saying, or people will grow without you and move on without you, right? And happens, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just you can DM me anytime, Mary. Okay, so whenever you get that situated, right, just DM me and we can get you a reading in. Okay. So yeah, 3-card, 5-card readings are always available. You just have to DM me to let me know you want them, and make sure that you send the $5 or $10. Okay. Alrighty. My reading today was the fall before the rise. I am going to flip the strength here back into upright, but Spirit is saying how the strength has dwindled from these sneaky and deceptive behaviors of these people, yeah, who thought they were going to have clear skies towards their dreams, their wishes, their plans, right? Okay, we're going to leave it in the reverse, Spirit said, just so I could show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so we know 7 of Swords, right? This is someone trying to get away with more than they can carry, right? Trying to hold on to secrets, deceptions, lies that they should have just came out and been open about, right? But however, they were trying to get away with their plans beneath the dark, right? So Spirit saying this is not just people in high position of power. These are people that you see in your day-to-day life, people that you are around, right? People living double life, secret lives, under the guise of sweet, innocent, right? Under the guise of wanting to help others, right? So definitely be aware of that. But these people, these individuals are losing, what's the word, Spirit? Traction, right? With the Knight of Swords here, they are losing traction. Hi Emily, how you doing? How you feeling? So we will be doing the personal readings after we get the collective reading done, okay? Yeah, exactly, darling. Neighbors, family members, people you see at the store, right? There are individuals at this time who are really going to be made to face the consequences of their actions here. The Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck, right? They're going to be made to see the things that they did, especially involving child trafficking. So this is more broader scapes. This is more what the world is going through at this time, okay? But the other part of the message I do want you guys to understand, Spirit said the fall, right? The fall before the rise. Light workers, time to guide, okay? So that was the full message that I channeled. We came live, okay? So even though these individuals are going through this shift where everything they did in the dark is being brought to the light, right? These Epstein files aren't just meant to cover these individuals in high places, right? That's only one portion of it, one part of it, right? We have to understand that not just the systems in place, but the people that keep them going are on all different types of hierarchy, okay? And with the Strength card in reverse, this is like their power is being stripped from them, right? The strength they did hold, a strong, what's the word, Spirit? Stronghold. Stronghold they did have here on this planet is being weakened. It's being reversed, okay? With the Wheel of Fortune coming out right after that. But this is like the opportunity they had to bring in these awful timelines, right, has gotten stripped, taken away. Okay. This is giving way for the true leaders to shine here, right? And this is with the Nine of Pentacles. What I'm really feeling off of this is the matriarchy, right? The divine feminine energy that we hold on this planet with this Ace of Cups, right? Very plentiful, very fruitful, very what's the word I'm looking for? very fertile, right? Okay, with this energy to create, this energy to build here, gaining momentum, spirit said. Oh, look. Gaining momentum. It's so funny because I was thinking of the chariot card, and then the chariot card came out. So I was like, when spirit was like, okay, gaining momentum, like in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, like the chariot card, and then like the chariot card. So yes, like the chariot card directly. With this gaining momentum. And flowing with the natural push and pull of energy. This is giving like moon moon spirit energy here. Remember, it doesn't just have to be what the card itself represents in a general sense, but the energy I'm feeling off of this is like the it's definitely giving like Avatar The Last Airbender, when they were talking about the moon spirit, and how it taught the waterbenders how to waterbend basically with the natural pool of energy, right? Yeah, this is definitely the natural, everything balancing itself out here, okay, with the moon and the water. Yeah, we have the Nine of Wands here as well. This change that's being brought is divinely protected. Okay. All right. This is like the Most High is on this. All the ancestors, all the divine spirit guides, everybody is working on this in the ethers. Okay. Nobody's slacking. Spirit said. Spirit said that because this world will not be lacking. Mm. Sorry, Spirit. Okay. Hi Zama, how you doing? How you feeling? I don't know how to pronounce that other name, but hi guys, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Okay, let's see. They thought they had this in the bag. It's giving the dark horse card if it comes out here. They weren't expecting. Okay, so it's like they were aware. So the individuals, right, were aware that the awakening was going to take place. They always knew that this was going to happen, right? They use energetic reading. They use different ways to predict the future, right? So that they know what's coming, what they have to plan for, right? So they always knew that this mass great awakening was going to happen around this time period, right? They just thought that they'd have more control over it, right? Like they really thought they were going to be able to do what they've always done when a mass awakening occurs in this realm, right? They thought they would be able to deter the energies, right? Push out false or negative energies to block the positive energies coming in, right? They thought they'd be able to confuse the masses so that the masses wouldn't understand the shift they were going through, right? However, Spirit is saying this was not like any other mass awakening on this planet. Mistaken evaluation card is coming to mind, right? How you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Okay, right now we're just doing the collective reading, guys. Okay, so if you do want a personal reading, stick around. Give me a second, right? We should be done with the collective reading in the soon. I won't give you the exact time, but soon. So vibe along with us. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Spirit is saying, yeah, intense energy. They were not expecting it to be this intense. Okay. Hold on. How many cards flipped over here? And I'll take them if they come back. Okay. I like that there's so much yellow and orange here, which reminds me of the sun, right? And all the solar flashes that we've been having, flares with whatever, solar flares, right? That have been going through and coming through our atmosphere on this planet, right? Solar flares have a lot of gamma rays in them, and they can enhance our DNA, right? Which is why there's a lot of block the sun technology, right? Chemical trails, right? The China, if you ever looked into China doing research on how to block the sun, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, right? That's the reason they're trying to block the sun, is because of the intense energy that the sun holds, right? As our light source in this realm, okay? And the effects that it does have on our we could say human DNA, sure. But the effects it has on us, right? They didn't want on our minds as well. Okay. That's why they always try to make it seem that gamma, too much of gamma is dangerous. And that's why they, you know, are trying to sell it that way, right? That's just propaganda. Okay. I always say that because of how much we are gathered, right, with civilization, okay, there's not enough separation for us to evolve in another way except through the mind and with the sun, right, bringing certain gamma rays down and enhancing our DNA as well as our consciousness. That's the only way that we as humans are going to evolve any further, right? Is through our consciousness. There's no way to evolve physically any further, only through the mind, right? And the gamma rays also have an effect on that as well. Okay, so they weren't expecting with the in the clouds. Yes, they were in Delulu land when it came to how this mass awakening was going to take place. Okay, daydreaming, misled by their own illusions. Okay, out of touch with reality. More like out of touch with the ethers. Okay, out of touch with the good Lord is what that card is trying to say. They really thought they were gonna get away with all these dastardly deeds, right? With all this evil and darkness they were trying to spread here. That they really thought their stronghold was going to outstand and withstand this intense energy the sun was bringing in, right? God universe was bringing on the planet, Mother Gaia was doing, you know what I'm saying? Like all this energy, this very intense energy, they really thought they were going to be able to outdo it. With the solar plexus also here, like they were super confident. Like they were super confident. And these worker bees, these sheep, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen to their souls. They're not going to sit here and be like and guide themselves back to pure energy, to God. They're not doing any of that. They're still listening to the surface level Bible text. They're still listening to rap music and things about violence and stuff like that. They're never going to awaken their minds so far that they will realize everything we've been dumping on them to consume was never for their highest good. It was to keep their minds entrapped. They were so confident that that was going to stick and that was going to be like, oh yeah, they're way out of this, you know, like how they've done since, you know, before Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Eons, millennials, okay, years, thousands of years they've been pulling the same trick out their hat thinking that it was going to work this time too. Right? They pulled that same trick out they hat with Jesus now. Don't get it twisted. They pulled the same trick out they hat with Jesus. They said, who's going to believe that this man is really out here performing miracles? Oh, yeah. He's doing what? Oh, no, he's not. The devil. You know what I'm saying? The same trick. They pulled the same trick out of their hats. The same. Every time there was a mass awakening, right? Every time where Jesus realized that he took that time in the woods to come and mentally prepare himself for God consciousness, right? They villainized it. They demonized it, right? For that purpose, okay? They demonized his whole existence just for the fact that they can spin this whole story on reality. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing this for eons. This is not their first run of the mill, right? Jesus was not their first highly gifted, spiritual gifted individual they took down in that manner. It was not the first, okay, but it was the one that they made a martyr. Understand that. But if you're still reading the Bible for surface level, you won't understand that. Okay? Right? I went to church my entire life, okay? When I realized you were supposed to decode the Bible and not actually sit there and read it for surface level, because, you know, words have been changing for more than 2,000 years, what their actual definition means, right? Their connotation, their denotation, everything goes into the words, the suffix, the prefix, right? If you don't know etymology, then you're not reading the Bible correctly anyway. So that's all I can say about that, right? But like I said, they were very confident in their plans to succeed this time around, just like every time around, okay? Every other time around, even Jesus, right? Which was another mass awakening, okay? Boom. They said, you know, I'm just saying, villainize it, demonize it, right? The witch trials, villainize it, demonize it, and sure that the people that are in power, right, stay where they're at, stay getting wealthy, stay being, you know, on this pedestal, right? This imaginary pedestal. Remember that this is all delusion, by the way. This is their delusion that they would be able to hold on to these type of things, these earthly possessions, right? These earthly ideals, right? When this planet was never just for earthly ideals and earthly possessions, right? It was for the spiritual guidance of learning through this form of education, right? Because remember, we can go anywhere in the spiritual realm, right? But there is not a lot of places where you can go to have a physical experience like Earth's physical experience. Okay? You know what I'm saying? There's nowhere to go. I'm just saying there's not a lot of places that are known to us at this time to go. Okay? Like I said, the universe is infinite. But boom. Like I was saying. Did I just see a card. Look. I did see a card. Boom. It's like, but this also ties into it, right? The surface level faith, right? The surface level proto perfect, right? This is the materialistic things, the earthly possessions, the earthly ideals, right? Those things are surface level. They do not go deeper than that, right? They do not even try to. And Spirit is saying this is cosmic timing, right? These mass awakenings that are happening right now, okay, that have been happening for years now, right? I've talked to people who have had their awakening since 2000, their awakening since 2017, right? Mine took place in 2020. There's a lot of people who woke up in 2020 as well. 2024 was also a big wake up point into this year, into 2025, right? So 2024, 2025, that point, a lot of people woke up during that time as well, right? And they were not expecting it to be this intense, to be this potent, right? To be affecting so many individuals at one time, right? They really thought this was gonna be like, oh, okay, like a few hundred, maybe a couple thousand. No, this is 144,000 galactic, okay, divine soul tribe, right? Divine soldiers that came here to do a mission, right? We had a mission to save this planet, and that's what we came here to do. And to every 144,000, right, divine light soldier, they are connected to thousands of other beings in this plane, right, on this earth. Okay, we didn't just come to lead and guide ourselves through this mess, right? We came to lead and guide thousands of other people who are awakening, help sparks their awakening, right? So when you have a domino effect like that, right? Now it's not just 144,000. Every time one of those 144,000 divine light soldiers, right, awakens and grows another or evolves another point on their journey, right, they awaken another soul. They are leading another soul in the ethers to do the same work, right? Even if they're not doing it publicly, right, in the ethers it is felt. Okay. And these individuals, these entities are running out of time. Okay, their time is already up. I mean, like, there's nothing they can do to scavenge this, to try to make this better. You know what I'm saying? There's no timeline they can pull in, right? Swords into the Knight of Swords strength in reverse, right? This is being stripped. Their power is being stripped from them. Every stronghold they had in this universe is being pulled away, tucked from under their feet at this time. They don't have the same power they held before all of the mass awakenings, right? That was all their delusion that they held that power, right? Remember, they used the Carnelian law to tell us about so many different things that they were doing behind our backs. However, that law no longer is in effect once people start paying attention, once people start using their third eye. It's no longer a form of protection against karma. You know what I'm saying? Before, it was like one of those great, big, spectacular loopholes. You know what I'm saying? It was so amazing. They really did their big ones with that. I mean, master evil genius. Boom. Who would have thought psychological warfare, TV shows, movies? Who would have thought? I mean, that right there, diabolical thinking. Okay. If I ever seen True Evil, boom, that right there, okay, making people think it's all make believe. I mean, mind blown. Okay, master manipulator right there. If that's who came up with that idea, is a master manipulator. Okay. Probably the same people who said that runaway slaves had a psychological disorder, because they wanted to run away. That meant they were mentally sick in the head for wanting to run from their captors. You know what I'm saying? It must be those same people. It has to be, because who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? Who truly thinks in such a way that you're like, yeah, okay, my slave wants to run away. All right, I'm putting this in actual medical grade psychology, right? And I'm saying that that slave has a mental disorder. Okay, they because they want to run away. That's a mental disorder, right? Wanting to run away from your captors is a mental disorder. Okay, are the same people who said, it would be nice to tell everybody what we're doing behind the scenes, right? Through TV shows and movies. Those same people. Those same people. Promise you, there's the same people. Because they're like, who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? It is those same people, and the same people for generations and generations, for eons, who think like that, right? And how that thinking got passed down through generations, through eons, right? Through millennials, okay? Because millenniums, right? Because of how they've had this stronghold on this planet for so long, okay? But I mean, like, claps. I mean, round of applause for ever thinking of something so ingenious, right? Like, come on, like, wow. TV shows and movies to tell people the truth without ever having to fully disclose the truth. I mean, shoot. It worked, didn't it? I mean, that's the sad part, is that it worked. It worked for so long. I mean, how long have TVs been out? It worked for so long. Okay. It was one of those plans that you gotta tip your hat off to like, wow. And the only way out was the third eye truth being revealed. Look, this is the spiritual glasses, right? Everyone talks about opening is the only way to see past all the lies, all the fake, right? And they didn't realize their time was coming up. This was like very, very much. Wait, hold on, I got it on. So when someone, okay, I got one. I'm trying to relate it back to something in this matrix that people are all too familiar with. Okay. Y'all know that there is a specific retirement age and everything like that within this system, right? Even though they keep trying to push it back and push it back, and hopefully they push it, hopefully their plan is to push it back to at least 100 years old, apparently, which we won't let it get that far, guys. We're actually going to move it back some, you know what I'm saying? Retirement should really be around 40 years old, right? Around 40, you really should be thinking about that time to retire. But especially when it comes to like how they have things set up, but in the sense, right? So it's that time, someone who is getting up in age, right, but doesn't know when it's time to retire, okay? And the whole office is like, hey man, when you thinking about retirement? And they're like, oh no, I think I still got a few good years left in me, right? And everyone is like, I need you to think about when you're going to relax, when you're going to enjoy your life. You know what I'm saying? Not just work until you perish. And, they even got the bosses coming to them, the higher ups, like, so you're thinking about retirement? So you gonna retire soon? Like, you know, like any thoughts of retirement? You know, what are the plans when you get out of here? You know, everybody's approaching this person like, you know, it's about that time, hun, for you to go and figure out the rest of your life outside of the office, you know, and that person is still sitting there, stubborn, hard headed. Like, I got a few more good years left in me, bro. Just give me my few good years left. And it's like, why don't you spend those few good years left doing something you actually want to do and not working until you perish? Right. Well, that is essentially what these deletes are going through, right? We're not going to give them power by calling them elites, right? We're going to take that power away and call them the deletes, right? So the deletes, right, the rich, only in money, not in spirit. Okay, remember, you can be rich, but if you're not rich in spirit, are you really rich? Okay, are you really rich? But these individuals, okay, are at the point of their shift, okay, that the point in their careers, okay, even though this has had been a long time coming, a eons and eons of effort to get these people to finally retire, right, is at that point in the office where the boss comes to this person and is like, hey, you have worked here for so many good years, and we really appreciate everything you've done for this country. I mean, you know, your 401k, that was all you, bro. We just matched it with 1% and everything like that. But I'm thinking it's that time for you, gang. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and force a retirement on you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let you get yourself situated here that over the next couple of days, but you are being let go of. Okay, we're gonna just have to let you go. You didn't want to retire, so I'm going to force a retirement on you. Good luck out there. Enjoy your time left on this planet. And as they're literally about to go and interview your replacement. So yeah, that's my 2 o'clock interview. Oh. Remember, figure out how that retirement's gonna go, buddy. So then they go and hire your replacement that same day. You know what I'm saying? So anywho, right, main point of what I'm trying to get to is that these individuals have a forced retirement on their hands here, right? This is a mandatory, you're fired, figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life because you can't work here any longer. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you're already getting up there in age. So if you haven't thought about retirement, you know, now that I'm firing you and making it mandatory, you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with retirement. Right? Like, you can figure that one out, right? Because that's how these companies are. They don't care, right? These corporations, right? The corporations, they don't really care about any of the individuals that work for them, right? And if you push in the age of retirement but won't retire, these companies, right, are going to eventually be like, you're too old to work here, gang. I need you to leave so I can hire a fresh mind, a fresh body, okay, that I can and manipulate to doing whatever I need them to do. Okay, and I don't know how well that's been working out with them with Gen Z, right? Because Gen Z is the type that will clap back and won't take the disrespect in the office. So I really don't know how well that's working out nowadays, but with the older generations, it worked perfectly. Tell them, well, you guess you're gonna be on the streets if you don't work until you perish, right? If you don't get that money, then that's where you're gonna end. You know what I'm saying? That worked very well on the older generations, right? Gen Z, right? It started to fade off. It was like, but everybody's hiring. You know what I'm saying? Gen Z mentality was really like, why would I stress about you when they hiring, and they're hiring? Make it worth my time. Right, make it worth my time, and then we'll talk. You know what I'm saying? Back to the point though, right? These individuals are at the point where they are definitely getting pushed out here, right? With spiritual court in session, these individuals are having everything stripped away from them. Their access to money, to power, their access to spiritual knowledge, spiritual wealth, right? Everything is being stripped, revoked. Not just here in the physical plane, but also in the spiritual plane, right? Because the only way for us to see past the illusions that they tried to build here with the surface level, right? Photo perfect, okay, was to look through our third eyes to gain access to the exit, right? What was beyond their tyranny, beyond their rule, right? Beyond what they had in store for the masses. For us to look beyond that, right? Truth revealed, okay? Intuitive, right? So a lot of souls woke up intuitively and are now having everything they ever spoke on backed up by truth. You know what I'm saying? So really we should I was gonna say this today on threads, but seriously guys, for puzzle solvers, right, we should stop publicly shaming them as conspiracy theorists, okay? Because that's just not the right term for somebody who has really good puzzle solving abilities, right? That right there is a gift in and of itself, right? To be able to do so much with so little, okay, and figure out the missing pieces, okay, without all the information there intuitively, right? So that in and of itself is a gift, okay? So calling them conspiracy theorists is just it's literally publicly humiliating them, right? It's like a humiliation ritual, okay, so that people don't trust in your gifts, don't trust in the fact that you're able to literally spot these things from a mile away. You know what I'm saying? You're able to put the pieces together and be like, wait a second. You know what I'm saying? They try to dehumanize puzzle solvers, right, as conspiracy theorists, right, making their unique the unique way their brain works, right, seem like a problem versus a gift, versus a talent, you know what I'm saying, that they have. And hi, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Which is just, as you can see, with all the Epstein files being released, and we still need 3 million Epstein files released, okay. Hold on guys, give me 1 second. Gotta let the bots know that this is not a place to be crusty. Boom. Alright, YouTube bots be on it, but I don't got time for that crustiness in my chat, so that all gets banned. Because like I said, you coming in, like guys, especially with these individuals, with how they plan things out, right? Especially when these Vatican files come out and y'all learn that the Bible is missing so many different stories, especially about psychics, right? Especially about mediums, okay? Anybody who has intuitive gifts, okay? Like you don't know anything about it because all of the actual books that had knowledge on it are missing. Because why wouldn't God talk about it if it's a thing? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't it be in the book if it's supposed to be everything in there about everything in our lives, everything we're supposed to know in this realm, right? Why wouldn't they tell us about giants or mermaids or other creatures that had, substance here on this planet. Why wouldn't they talk about those things, right? Why would that all be seen as make believe if there weren't missing books hidden away from us? And then, again, the whole TV show and movie, right, with the Carnelian Law, with this such a like infamous way to trick masses of people. Right. It was, like I said, we gave our round of applause for that, but it's like you come in my chat on what exactly, like like you're like, oh, do you believe in God? Like, God universe, right, is just pure energy. It's the actual source of everything, right? We are pieces of it. Okay, we are, that's why we are God too, right? So like, these are things, if you ask, right, I will explain. But don't come in my chat talking about some repent, you know what I'm saying? And I promise you, you are the furthest thing from God. Like, you are the furthest away from God than you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, you ain't, your relationship with God and my relationship with the universe are two separate things, okay? All right, two separate things, because yours is on based off surface level text, mine's is based on actual connection. Okay, so there's a difference. There's a difference, okay? Hi Mark, how you doing? How you feeling? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Like I said, come crusty, come incorrect in my chat. Talk to me nice or don't speak at all. Let me put it like that. Talk to me nice or don't speak at all. Alrighty, because I will put you on block. Alright, don't play with me. Do not play with me. Alright, but yeah. So let me see if we can get another card on the collective here. That card has been like smooth, wanting to come out this whole time I had this deck in my hand. It's been wanting to smooth come out, and there it is finally. Didn't I drop one? Okay, there it is. Found it. Yeah. Look. I mean, this is why they're coming up with so many. Hi, hon. How you doing? How you feeling? Thank you, dear. But what you call it? So yeah, that's why they're coming up with all these different ways to get the public to panic, especially in the United States, right? At this time, right? They don't want anyone gaining or experiencing this wheel of fortune, right, where they are toppled on their side, okay, toppled onto the bottom, right, are no longer put on a pedestal, right, whereas the divine light children are put on a pedestal, put into their actual divine roles, okay, their divine thrones, okay, the true prophets are coming back to power, right? All false kings, all false prophets are to fall, okay? We are witnessing this in real time. Okay, when people are like, talking about the Bible, and it's like, well, you are literally witnessing false prophets fall, false idols fall, right? We are literally witnessing it at this time. Okay, we are seeing these politicians, these kings and queens and princesses and duchesses, right? These movie stars, right? These artists in music, okay? Literally at this time being exposed for all the darkness they ensued on this planet, being stripped of any, I want to say empathy, but being stripped of that notion where we are like, oh my goodness, it's so and so. No, it's like, oh, it's so and so. Like they just don't have that glamour. They're being, oh, that's the good word, spirit. They're being stripped of their glamour as well. Right. So that star effect they had, right, where it had people, wanting to be friends with a complete stranger they never met, right, idolize a complete stranger they never met, right, be like a complete stranger they never met, you know what I'm saying? All of that is being stripped, right? All of that is being taken, okay, from them. They don't get to hold on to that any longer, right? And this is having them spiral, you know what I'm saying? This is like trying to pull in other timelines, right? Trying to get attention. Okay, might see a couple people drop a new album, you know what I'm saying? Might see a few people drop a new album, make a music video to a song that they already dropped an album to a few months ago. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, they are starved for attention. They crave their fans' energy, okay? And the only way they can get it is when putting out a new movie, putting out a new, new song, you know what I'm saying? Being out, putting out a new campaign post, okay? Anything that attracts attention to them, that has people feeding into their energy into them, you know what I'm saying? Attention is energy, right? So they're spiraling. They know that your attention is a sacred gift at this time that they've taken for granted, and they don't get to have back, right? So they are falling, right? This is the fall before the rise, okay? That's why I said these next 5 years are going to be very, very interesting. They are going to be a good time. I'm going to have a good time. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to be having a good time. And if you are in a higher astral plane of consciousness, right, you're also going to be having a good time, okay? If you're in a lower astral plane of consciousness, then you're going to be seeing everything for what it is, right? And it's not going to be like observing anymore and, being able to respond to it. It's going to be straight reacting. And you do got to meditate, right? And get out of that way of thinking, right? So I think, so a lot of the time we talk about the 5D earth and the 3D earth, right? In the split was completely mental, right? The split that happened were those on the lower astral plane of consciousness and those on the higher astral plane of consciousness, right? So that was that 3D 5D split. But since there are so many of us in this 5D consciousness that are also tied to a lot of people in the 3D consciousness, right, we are bringing the actual earth and the actual physical realm into the fifth dimension, okay? So all of that is being energetically, we've done a lot of the work already, okay? Energetically, it's already set in stone, right? That's why they are going through these endings at this time this fall, because our rise has already started with their fall, right? So it's like we're going through this shift, guys, okay? Going on a trip, all right? And it's gonna be fun, right? And if you haven't started de-learning everything you thought you knew, okay, go ahead and start de-learning everything you thought you knew. Okay. I think I got a puzzle. Yes. Right. So everything you thought was truth before, all right, everything you learned in the indoctrination systems, also known as the school system, right, all of that, just go ahead and forget about it. It's not going to be important for you to grow, learn, or evolve moving forward, okay? All that stuff was just because Rockefeller wanted worker bees, guys, and Rockefeller's fall is now. Everything that he's built, everything that he was introduced by other entities to do, right? All of that is being broken down, okay? They don't have any more control on the outcome, right? They don't get to control the outcome. They don't get to control how how the Epstein files, how this affects the people. Okay, like I said, there's so many of us who already knew about all this stuff for years and have been, mentally dealing with this stuff. Like, I understand, reading the Epstein files 6 years ago when I was doing my own research, right, that my intuition led me to do, excuse me, confirmation burp, right, that led me to do that research, right. Everything I found out about child trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, right? About the government, about aliens. You know what I'm saying? This is all things like I already know about it. You know what I'm saying? The witchcraft they're doing, how they harvest people's energy through sports, through you know what I'm saying, through different warfare, how they open portals, everything. You know what I'm saying? I found out all about that stuff in 2020 at the tender age of 18, right out of the school system. I literally just graduated high school. So learning about all that stuff, learning that everything I learned literally for the last 12 years of my life was a lie, right? Yeah, it do something. It do something to your psyche, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, why would you lie to us? You know what I'm saying? Um, but like I said, during that time period, right, it did, that did spark a psychosis, and it happens, right, on your spiritual journey, as long as you get out of the psychosis, right? And the only way to do that is to release ego, right? Once you realize that you can't bring your ego along this journey anymore, right? That helps you break the psychosis pattern. Okay. So yeah, during that time, yeah, that information and no one believing you about the information, yeah, it was one of those mind trips that, yeah, wasn't that fun, but I'm still grateful that my soul wanted to know that early, because it was, yeah. I couldn't imagine finding out now, right? I just personally could not imagine it, because I know myself, right? I know myself, and I know that I would have on with the pitchfork and the torch, ready to burn it all down. Okay, I already know myself. I would have been the first one ready to wage an entire war on this government. I would have been there alone. Okay. All right. If I would have found information out at the same time as everybody else did, I would have already been down at the Capitol, ready to burn it down. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So, like I said, I'm grateful I learned about all that information, knew about it before it even took place, for being revealed to the public, right? Because if not, I would have been squaring up, okay, with this government. All right. It took everything in me not to square up with the government in 2020 as well. When when I found out about all this stuff, it took a lot. It took a lot to not be like, alrighty, let's just burn it down, guys. So I understand when people are like currently in that vibe, reading that stuff now. I understand truly, because I was there 6 years ago. Okay, but 6 years ago I wouldn't have had, thousands or maybe millions of people ready to back me up. You know what I'm saying? 6 years ago I probably would have just been a one woman army, ready to tear that stuff down. Okay, so yeah, yeah, I like I said, it was definitely a journey that I had to go on, and I'm grateful I did go on it, so that I can help you guys, right? For those of you who aren't aware of everything in the Epstein files, or what's going on and what's the truth of our reality, and not all the hidden lies in the Matrix, right? So you know that's if I can help at least one person get through this time, I've done my job. I've done my job, you know? Right? Yes. Um, and truly does, you know, melt my heart when I see that you guys are actually like learning something and actually like, you know, taking the messages that the divine brings forth for me to help you grow, learn, evolve, right? Or if you're learning how to strengthen your gifts with me, right? What you call it? On conscious game night, right? So any way to really help you guys grow, learn, and evolve, to stay calm, cool, and collected during this time, right? Makes me so happy, especially when I know that it is helping you guys. Like, so, okay, like I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But like, you know, those of you that are make it a point to come on here and let me know that something I said helps you, right? Something you know, we talked about either through a message or on our lesson day or conscious game night, right? If it helped you in any way, right? When we do our mindfulness meditations, right, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Okay, if those help you ground, right, or find a new formation of grounding, right, it's always a blessing to know when you guys are actually soaking up the knowledge, okay, that I am bringing forth, okay. Oh, period. I like that one. Okay. Said God is the source and its intelligence. Exactly. God is the source. God is source. Source is God, right? They're interchangeable words as long as you put respect on the name, right? The divine, spirit, universe. All of them are interchangeable words because we are talking about a pure energetic source, right? That's why I tell y'all, God is just pure energy, the purest form of energy, right? That is what God is, right? We are not the purest form of energy because we have these vessels, right? If we were to get out of these vessels, if we evolve enough, right, then the energy we do hold does filter out all of the other types of energy with us, right, and bring us back to pure energy. Okay. I'm glad to hear that Moana. I don't know if I'm saying that right, dear. I hope I am, but if I'm saying it wrong, let me know. But exactly. That's what I like to hear. You know what I'm saying? And that it's helping. Um said yeah, it's collective all signs, Mark. Yeah, it was just a collective all signs. Alrighty. And at this time we are starting Eunice. Okay, period. Period. Did I say that right? Right. At this time we are doing the personal readings. Okay, so if you do have a question that you would like to ask the divine, just let me know. Dollar on Cash App or PayPal. If you are on YouTube, it is 5 roses. Okay. Okay. Period. Period. I got it right. Eunice. Okay. Eunice. Okay. All right. I'll remember that. I remember that. Okay. Eunice. Okay. So when I see Miss Hunt, it's Eunice. Locked in. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sometimes it takes me a couple times to remember. Okay, not doing it on purpose. It's just that's just how my mind works to lock in names. I do have to see it a couple times for my brain to be like, all right, let me lock it in. Right, if I see it one time, my brain is going to be like, it's somewhere in there, I promise you it's there. I just don't know where. Right now I gotta look for it everywhere in my head. And so what you call it, but yeah, so after I see it like a couple times, I'm gonna be like, locking in to memory. Okay, boom. Trust me, you know, and it's I feel like it's worse in person because you see the person and like you see them like face to face and you're like, ah, see, I remember your face. I know we had a conversation. I know that happened. I know it wasn't just my imagination, but your name's not coming to me. It's my brain is like, ah, I know you, but you know what I'm saying? Just sitting there really contemplating why I don't remember your name. But like literally, I recognize a pattern. It's just how my brain is, right? I need a couple times to really lock it in. Promise you. By the third time, I'm like, oh yeah, I know you. Don't act like we don't know each other at this point. I know your name now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I know the collective reading today wasn't really on any personal fronts because I really don't want to get into any love readings with the collective at this time, or any like, oh, your enemies, yada yada. We don't care about them people right at this time. You know what I'm saying? The musky moon rabbits can stay musky. Okay, that's what they want to do. That's what they can do. No one cares, right? As long as y'all staying up on your protection, doing your divinity work, okay, saying your prayers, doing your meditations, lighting your sage, lighting your palo santo, right? As long as you are doing your thing to keep your energy protected, keep your aura field protected, right? You don't gotta worry about the crusties, okay? You don't gotta worry about them, right? I know, was it when they are out here doing something so nefarious that we actually have to talk about it, then we'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But at this time, and then like with love readings and stuff like that, when your divine partner comes into your life, your divine partner comes into your life. I can't simplify that enough. So yeah. Now, if it's a if it's a personal reading and you want to talk about your relationship, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That is 100% a-okay. It's your life. Okay, it's your energy that you're investing into me as I am investing my energy back into you. Right? So, is, you know, that's what you want to talk about. That's what you want to talk about. Hey, but what you call it? In the collective reading, I just don't want to talk about those things right now because it's like on the larger scale of things, it's minuscule, you know. It's not as important as, you know, what the current shifts that are happening in our reality as an entire planet, right? As an entire collective of humanity at this time. Okay, so stuff like that. But for the collectives at this time, as well as no, lost my train of thought there. But if you want to talk about like relationships, career, I also do pregnancy readings. Right, we it could be literally about anything, guys. Seriously, as long as your soul guides you to ask the question, right? The universe is going to respond, okay, and give you the answers that you need, right? Not what you want, but what you need to hear, okay? Sometimes it gets very blunt. Sometimes I like spirit wants me to get very blunt with you about certain things, especially, I don't know, I've seen a pattern. It's usually with love readings, okay. um I've seen the pattern, guys. I've seen the pattern. It's usually with love readings that I have to get seriously blunt with some of you, because, you know, spirit is sick and tired of it. So, you know, I gotta let you know how sick and tired spirit is of it. Okay. um and that's just, I can't, if I don't tell you, if I'm not straight up and I'm not honest about it, you know what I'm saying? If I try to sugarcoat it, right, spirit is gonna get that message to you some way or another, and it's not gonna be sugarcoated, right? It's gonna be straight out. Okay, you knew what you were doing. You knew you shouldn't have been messing with so and so. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? And spirit's gonna be a lot more stricter on it. If I don't just tell you straight out. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be blunt with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Um and guys, so it is, I don't know, let me see this. Let me check this really fast. Okay, so it is 5 roses for a yes or no question, and it is for a 3 card or a 5 card reading. It's $5 or $10 through the Cash App or PayPal link in my bio. Okay, so same with YouTube. The link is in my bio. I just don't think it's clickable. I think you gotta like maybe type it in. I don't even think you can copy paste it. I think you just gotta type it in to the web search browser. Yeah, which is like, if you know the link tree, right? If you've used link tree before, okay, all you gotta do is put that first part of the link tree and then put the last part, which is the Alayya's Angels, okay, and it'll take you to that. Scroll down all the way to the bottom, and you'll see Cash App and you'll see PayPal. Okay, alrighty. So yeah, you need we just do the, like I said, we do the energy exchanges, okay, because I take this very seriously and making sure that you get the most accurate messages, right? That means I have to connect to your energy, right? Fail safe is that you invest your energy back into me, right, with your currents of chi, okay, whether that's the roses, whether that's the dollar, the $5, $10, okay, that is your energy being invested back into me, for me investing my energy back into you, right? That is your consent form, okay, that is letting the ethers know that you consented to me reading on your energy, right? Taking the time that during that 5 minutes, okay, that I am connected to your energy, you consented to that, right? After I tell you have a blessed day, right, we are deconnect from each other's energies. But like I said, since I'm connecting to your energy, right, that gives you access to my energy as well. Energy is a two-way street. Okay, so it's, like I said, it's dangerous for me to interact with, people I'm not really know on a personal level, right? So to protect myself, right, it's just, we do what we gotta do. Okay, this is how the divine has guided me to do it. This is the way I'm going to continue to do it for personal readings, for one-on-one sessions, right? That makes sure that you are taking this seriously. You're not just getting a reading to get a reading, you know what I'm saying? But you are actually invested in your journey, in your growth, okay, in your involvement, okay. That when you invest your currents of chi, that's what that tells me as well. It does, you're going to respect my time and energy as well as your time and energy, okay. So that is why we do the energetic exchanges, okay, whether that's the dollar, the 5 roses, okay, the $5 to $10, or the one-on-one sessions, or for 30 minutes or an hour, right? So that is the reasoning. All things that have been guided to us from the great Lord, okay, and that's how I will continue to do it. If you are struggling financially, this is the big part I let everybody know. If you are struggling financially, you always have the option to just DM me, okay? So DM me, tell me your situation, okay, what's going on, why you're financially struggling, okay, and I'll still get you situated, okay, because it's, just because you don't have, the money doesn't mean you don't have access, okay, but you have to DM me, that way, it's not, your business isn't all out on the internet, okay. All right, so if you are financially struggling, that's the DM me. That's the only way we will get your reading done, especially if you tell me what the situation is. Like, so if you're a college student, right? I understand. I understand, y'all. I'm a college student too, right? So, boom, I understand, y'all. The money be tight as a college student because college should be free, and like all the other stuff that go into it, but you're saying if you're homeless, okay, right, or if you're like between homes, between jobs, okay, and you're just not in a place financially where you can invest your currents of chi, right, your energy, into me, for me investing my energy back into you, right, then DM me. Those are the situations where I am totally empathetic and I totally get it, right. But you know what I'm saying. If you got yourself together, bills is paid. You know what I'm saying. You all right. Then you can invest your energy, your currents of chi into the reading. Okay. Um. You know what I'm saying. But if you seriously are struggling, I get it. I understand. Okay. Welcome in, guys. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let me know down in the chat, okay? I do want to know. We are doing yes or no questions as well as 3 card or 5 card readings, okay? Let me know how y'all doing down in the chat. Okay, Eunice, let me know. When I finish here, I will check my DMs, okay? Period. Alrighty, so yeah, my DMs are always open for you guys. Not just not just for readings, but also if you ever need to just talk, right? You need a shoulder to lean on. Okay, my door is always open for you guys to come and do that, right? I don't want you guys feeling like you're alone on this journey. Okay, so just let me know if you ever need anything, right? If you are struggling with mental health, let me know. Okay. To DM me, right? Either TikTok, Discord, or Instagram. Yeah, those three. So TikTok, Instagram, or Discord. I always say Discord because Discord we have our support corner. Okay, so it's not just me who also is going to be there for you, but the people in our community, right, in our Brady Bunch hideout on Discord. Okay, so you can also privately DM me on Discord, but we also have the support corner so that if you ever need anything, we're all there for you. Okay. um right, we are building a close knit community. Okay, so that's why I do direct you guys to Discord. Okay, because Discord is a way that we could get to know each other. We can have private conversations about things that we don't get to talk about on the live. Okay. We can support each other. We can come up with ways to, just get off the grid, escape the matrix and stuff like that. So we have that area. If you're struggling mentally, right, we have the Discord so we can help you through it. Okay, if you need shadow work, we have an area where you can do shadow work. If you need help with meditation, there's literally so much that we're going through on there. As well as spiritual knowledge wise, there is a section on there where we do go over all of the, how to say this, all of the different religions, okay, and how they all tie back to the one and only creator, right, and how they're just missing pieces to the story of a bigger picture, right? So we have all of those different conversations in the Discord, right? It is organized, so you don't have to sit there and be like, "What are we talking about today? What's going on in the chat?" Scroll. No, no, none of that. It's all organized conversations. So if you want to talk about something specific, right, there is areas where you talk about those specific things, so that we can all like go back to them later, and that's our archive of information that we share with one another. Okay. As well as welcoming new people into this journey. Okay, so they have all, all that information that we shared with one another to help each other grow, learn, and evolve, right? They can also do that with all the previous knowledge stored. Okay. Hi, hon. How you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat, and I hope that helped, Louise, Sky Louise, for you to know where to DM me on. The link to all of my social medias is in my bio on YouTube in the link tree link. I don't think it's clickable though. I think you would have to type it into a web browser, or copy and paste it might work. I'm not sure. I've tried to do it on the account before. I'm like, can I? But it's like in the bio, so it might not. I'm not sure. But how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat, guys. Okay. Um, we are doing. You're welcome, hun. We are doing the readings for either Five Roses or $1 in YouTube's case, right? So Five Roses, or for both TikTok and YouTube, it's $5 or $10 for a 3 card reading or a 5 card reading. Okay, so that is how we're gonna do the readings today. Okay, you guys know, unless you are in a place where you're financially struggling, okay, right, then I don't do free readings. Okay, I take this too seriously, right? And my messages are 100% accurate. I don't play about accuracy in your life and getting you the messages that you need to hear, right? So we're not gonna play on my top about what I deserve to be paid either. Okay. Okay. All right. See, you're messing with somebody that knows their worth and knows that they do deserve to be paid, right, for their efforts, for their work, right? And you ain't got nothing, there's nothing you can do on that front. Okay. I told you I am very empathetic when it comes to certain situations where you just cannot afford it. Okay. I've helped many people who are, living that broke college life, college student life, and or on the verge of homelessness. I've helped many people dealing with various type of situations where they could not pay. Right. I don't expect any type of reward for it. You know what I'm saying? Any type of praise for it. I literally just do it because I know that money does not revoke access, okay, to the divine, right? Then of course, someone who doesn't know me or doesn't bother to ask, right, those type of questions, okay, would probably just come in and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying, oh, scam, fraud, like, if you see, what I've learned about tarot is that you can't trust everybody to do your reading, okay? And you're gonna have to use your discernment and your spiritual discernment and your intuition to guide you to a reader, right? That's why, besides my own readings, I only listen to one other person for readings, right? There's only one other person that I will listen to and be like, oh yeah, she's on the money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, you know what I'm saying, I just don't interact with on that level, because you know what I'm saying, you have to use your spiritual discernment and your intuition to find who is in your wheelhouse of things, right? The person that, like I said, the person that she only does collective readings and then one-on-one sessions, right? Her one-on-one sessions are a bit pricier than my one-on-one sessions. But you know what I'm saying? Her collective readings, fire. Fire. You know what I'm saying? So I will never, not like, her collective readings, which are just free, you know what I'm saying? So if you are looking for an someone to do a free reading, right, then your best bet is going to be someone who does collective readings, right? And if you're looking for someone to do personal readings, which means I'm not just tapping into the collective mindset, I'm not just tapping into God consciousness, I have to tap into your energy directly, right? That's what it means to do a personal reading, to do a one-on-one session, right? That means I'm tapping into you directly, right? I'm not tapping in to the universal things. I'm tapping into you directly. So if you can find somebody who wants to risk themselves and put themselves at jeopardy for free, you know what I'm saying? Then bravo. You know what I'm saying? Bravo to you. However, I've been doing this long enough that I don't want to put myself at jeopardy unless it's for the right reasons. Right? So you can love it or you can hate it. The duality, you know what I'm saying? And there's a duality to everything. You don't have to like the way I do things. That's not, I'm not here to be liked by everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's weird. Okay? That's weird. That's people pleasing energy, and I didn't come here to be nobody's people pleaser. Okay? So, no. I know my worth. I respect myself. I know how my gifts work, right? So we're gonna do it the way God universe guided me to do it. Okay, and that's what it is. What's up? How you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. And it's like see, this is what I talk about. Like I see your guys' usernames, and I know your username. I'm like, I know you, bro. But it's like if I don't see your name at least 3 times, I'm like, wait. What was your name though? So sorry, hon. I remember your tag though. Okay, I'm ready to see you up in here. Okay, I always remember y'all tags. Hey, hon. See that another one. Like, I always remember your tags. I always remember your tags. Right? How you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. All right, because it's like, especially if I see your tags several times, and I'm always remembering your tags. But if I see your name a couple times, I'm like, I remember your name, even past the tag. So it's just like, just how my memory works, guys. I'm sorry. Hi, lady, unforgivable, unforgettable. I don't know what word I was just trying to say there. Unforgettable. So you sent 10 roses. Okay, so you want to know if for am I saying that right? Melise? Let me know if I'm saying that right, hon. Yes, okay, period. Let me see. I'm gonna pin this for you guys so you guys can see 5 roses for one yes or no question. All right, will John come forward soon? Okay. For YouTube, it is $1 to the Cash App or PayPal. And I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I'm chilling, vibing. I'm gonna get this question done here. Will John come forward soon? Soon can mean anything to the divine. So let's time stamp it. Okay, let's I don't know how long you guys have not been in contact with each other at this moment, but let's do like the next couple weeks. What's February? Okay, so like March. Okay, by March will they come forward? Okay, let's see. By the beginning of March. That way, you're not. If we get a yes, you're not waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So we have a more constructive time frame here. Alrighty. So, dear Heavenly Father, Melise would like to know if John is going to come forward before the beginning of March. Please give them the answers that they need to hear, not what they want to hear. In Jesus' name we pray, amen, and so it is, Ashe. Okay. Alright, not in the way that you're expecting. Well, Spirit, you can't give me 3 cards and then... Well, Spirit's saying not in the way that you're expecting, but I'm trying to get, like, more... So not in the way that you're expecting, but not likely gonna happen in this next 2 weeks, right? We got like, yeah. So, at least, yeah. So it's not gonna be in the way that you're expecting them to come forward, but it's not gonna be in this next couple weeks here. Okay, so closer, more so in March, right? Could even be on the 1st of March, but we just wanted right before March. So, right before the beginning of March. So like to the, is it? I don't even remember. Basically that cutoff point. So could even be on the 1st of March here. It's just not going to happen before March ends. Okay. Alrighty. So I do hope you use those messages to help you learn, grow, and evolve, and do not be all like about the outcome, okay? Just an expression, not a word, but you know what I'm saying? Don't be like trying to hover or control the outcome of the situation, okay? Just allow it to flow. Alrighty, but I do hope you have a blessed day. Melise, and then I saw, hi, how you doing? I can't tell what animal that is, but how do you do? How you doing? How you feeling? I was gonna just call you the goat, but I was like, I don't think that is a goat though. Let me look at. I was like, it's so tiny. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm Maddie. Okay, nice to meet you, Maddie. Sorry. I was like trying to figure out what kind of animal that was there. A cheetah? Okay, yeah. It's so small I can't even see the spots on it. I had to like I'm already squinting and I still like so and you how you doing? How you feeling? And I see you had a question about your for a personal reading. All you had to do for the personal reading, hun, is invest your currents of chi back into me to let me know that you are consenting to me reading on your energy. Okay. So yeah, you would just ask your question, and I know your name Maddie, so basically you would just put your name and your question and we will get you the answers that you need, okay? It's 5 roses for it's 5 roses for yes and no question, or it's $5 or $10 for 3 card or 5 card reading through the Cash App or PayPal in my link, okay? If you go all the way down, scroll all the way down in the link, you'll find the Cash App and PayPal like takeaway. I don't know what it's called, but you know what I'm saying, the little I want to say segue so bad. I don't know. It literally just takes you to the site. Basically, like it just takes you to the site. Like a click away. So something like that. It's one of those away sounds, like, okay. But yeah. So how are you doing, hun? I don't think you said how you were doing in the chat yet. And forgive me if I'm blanking on your name at the moment. I'm terrible with names. It takes like 2 to 3 times for me to lock it in, okay? So well, if you, okay. So I get it. College. Okay. DM me And we'll still get you situated. Okay. All right. Like I said, that's one of the situations where readings are free, but I do require you to go into the DMs and just let me know like what's going on. But you already told me, so I know it's because of college and everything like that. So I get it. But anytime if you guys are financially struggling, okay, whether it be because you're a college student, right, or because you know you got laid off from a job and you're in between jobs, or you're on the verge of homelessness, right, like any of those range of situations where funds don't be funding like they should be, right, you can come to me, just let me know, right, and I'll still answer any questions you have, any guidance that I can give you, right, will still, I'll still do that. Okay. What? Okay, well, like that too, right? That too, like, okay, that makes sense too, hon. um yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, like high school is, yeah, but yeah, I get you. But you can't take finals if your grades aren't good enough in your country? Huh. Has to be over 75. Wait, you guys do your GPA different. Hold on. I'm like 85 and over for a GPA. What is that in the United States of America? I don't even know what that is. What's the conversion? What's the conversions? Why is the United States of America so weird? Our education system is so stupid, bro. The rest of the world is so advanced. For us, it's out of 100. The GPA is out of 100. Wow. Like, imagine. Imagine. Like, no, our GPA is literally out of 1 through 4. Right? Like, you can have a 1 point accumulated, right? Or you can have a 2 point, or you can have a 3 point, or you can have a 4 point. Like, that's. What does that really tell you? You know what I'm saying? I feel like 1 out of 100 tells you more than, you know what I'm saying, than a 4.0 or something. Like, I mean, we understand it because that's where we're from, but like, it's crazy. So so your GPA isn't where you would want it to be at. You not or you're not sure if it's where you need it to be at so that you could take the finals. That's understandable. And where are you from? I can know which country does this. Which country is out here rating the GPA out of 100? Iraq. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. 10 subjects like math, English, and then you put the grades, put them together. Okay, you take the grades and put them together. Okay. Yeah, which kind of seems similar to the United States of America only a little bit, right? Just like in the sense that you're taking the grades, right? And then you're putting it together. Like, it's not really like the grade itself. It's not like if you got an A or a B, right? It's if you got a 92% A or a, 86% B, right? So, and then taking those and putting it together for the grade accumulation, right? Um, and it didn't show up. What? Um, did maybe try making sure you typed it in correctly? I think because if it tried to auto correct my name or anything, like that, it could make it mess up like that, because I check to make sure that link works for you guys so many times. Like, like I'm always trying to make sure that it works so you guys have that access to it. Okay. After putting the 10 grades together, and then you divide that by 10. Oh, okay. Huh. Hmm. No, it's okay. It's okay. Like I get the concept of it. You know the thing. I get the concept, right, of how they're trying to go about it. It's like I said, it's very similar. It's just a different like point average. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just doing different numbers basically. But it's very similar. So Louise, let me know if you still need help. Another place you can find it where it actually is going to be clickable, Louise, if you're still in the live with us, trying to figure that out. But if you go to my community page, okay, and scroll down to one of the weekly announcements, okay, which should have been Sunday, right? So the last post on Sunday, which should only be like not that many to scroll down, but I always put the link in the weekly announcements on the community page. Okay, so if you go on there, you can link there. I just thought about that. I forgot that I put it there. That I always put it there for you guys so that it's always accessible. Um, You said it's over, it has to be over 85. Yeah, I understand, dear. Yeah. So we can definitely, if you DM me about it, Maddie, we will I will pull a card and everything for you. So it has to be over 85 for you to take the finals. Okay. And this is this for your senior year? Or I don't know, the school system might be a little different over there, or like your last year before you go on to higher education. Oh, okay. All right, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So then you don't take the finals if you. Okay. All right. Yes, it did. I'm sorry. I'm thinking they made you like. I'm thinking for some reason like they wouldn't let you take the finals unless you had a good GPA, and I was like, what sense does that make? But no, that makes a lot of sense now. Okay, so if you have a high GPA, you don't have to take the finals. Okay, good, because I feel like that's really backwards. If you did have to, have a good GPA just to take the finals. Okay, so you're scared. You're scared that you might not have a good enough score to opt out of the finals, and that you might actually have to take them. Okay. So you found it. Okay. Period. That's what I like to hear. All right, and you message me on Instagram. Period. I will look at that once we get off of live stream today. Okay, there's somebody else who said they DM me too, so I have to go. I will check those after I get off here. Okay. What time is it? Yeah, so I'll give you guys, maybe like another 30 to an hour depending. So if you guys need personal readings today. And hi Mercy, how you doing? How you feeling? Okay. Hi Baby J, how you doing? How you feeling? Uh if you DM me, because you already told me your situation and everything, so I know now, like, since you're in high school and everything, that it's, you're not financially in a place where you can invest, so I will do the reading for free. Yes. That's only in that sense, right? If you are financially insecure, okay, not where you would like to be financially, struggling because you're in school, or you're right, you're but in between jobs, okay, you're facing homelessness, okay, any of those situations are liable to get a free reading from me, okay. um guys, if you're not in one of those situations, and please don't lie about being in one of those situations, because my intuition will call you out, and God universe will make it known in my ear you're lying to me, okay. So don't lie to me about that stuff, right? Because then you get access revoked, you know what I'm saying, you get access revoked from my energy, for doing things like that, okay. So but yeah, you it will be free for you, Maddie, because I know your situation. So Louise, I think I just saw you say something in there. If in place, couch surfing, okay, hun. Yeah, we'll talk about it more. So in, like I said, I don't want you guys put you guys' business out on the internet, you know what I'm saying. If you're struggling, you can just DM me what's going on, right, in that sense, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Like I said, I don't want to put your guys' business out on to the live. So I just go ahead and have you guys DM me, and then I will send you the reading to whatever question you have, right. And like I said, my services are free. Like, we do it on the live stream, so I have no problem if you are in a financial place, right, helping you get through it, helping you, guide you with shadow work, right, guide you with meditations, right. I'm going to personally guide you so that you can manifest better into your world, okay. And I know if you're like in high school, there's not like much you can do on that front, but until you get out of high school, but you understand. Yeah, no problem, dear. I'm just being me. But thank you, hun. Thank you so much for saying that. But yeah, so that is, trying to think, the reason to get a free reading from me. Um, and then trying to think. Yeah, so all right, that boom. Free readings if you're financially struggling, right. You also get free guidance from me and everything like that. Even though you can get that on the live streams and stuff as well, right. I do not gatekeep knowledge, wisdom, right. Anything to deal with spirituality. That's why I have a playlist on mindfulness with over 200 videos in it, so that you guys can practice mindfulness whether you are beginner or expert. And I have a boss up playlist with a over 200 books in it, right, that will also help you grow, learn, and evolve, right. I read them myself, I go over them with you myself, right, so that you also have access to the knowledge, to the wisdom, to grow, learn, and evolve along this journey, okay. um if you are in a place where you can actually invest in your journey, invest in knowing what messages the divine has for you, right, then I'm going to ask that you respect the energy exchange, okay, for $5 or $10 for the 3 card or 5 card reading, or the $1 or $5. Yeah, no, Maddie, it's fine. No, no. Like I said, you're fine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We could talk about all those different kind of things. Especially if you want to talk about like vulnerability as an open, if you mean like that. Um, like, I have shadow work. I have ways for you guys to, literally, I guide you in a way that you won't need me anymore. Like, I'm going to get you in front of the things that you need to be in front of, so that you can do the work yourself, right. And I'm just there if you need anything, right, a helping hand. But I can't hold your hand for your entire journey, you know what I'm saying. Eventually you'll have to let my hand go, right? And so I prepare you for that, especially if you are in a place where you're financially struggling. Okay. It's okay. I understand, Manny, but if you DM me, right, I'll get that answer to you right away. Oh, and Louise, we do practice using our intuition and spiritual discernment as well on Fridays. Okay. I don't really like the test your intuition, like, the ones where they're like, oh, I don't know, which card can I use? Okay, what color? When they're like, what color is on the back of this card, right? And if you know telepathy, if you could trust your intuition, you'd be able to tell me what color is on the back of this card, right? Even though I keep saying it very loudly in my head. So if you're able to use telepathy, right, this would be somewhere where you'd be able to tell me, like, oh, I know what color it is, right? I don't really like games like that. Like, I participate in games like that. You know what I'm saying? I have a good time. But I don't really like doing games for you guys that way, because I don't feel like there is enough integration of teaching you how to trust yourself, right? So I do it differently with a game that was not meant to strengthen intuition and spiritual discernment. However, you have to use it if you truly want to win the game. Right? The game is situated for as much chaos as possible, right? And if if you start to incorporate intuition into it, right, it kind of, I want to say, makes the chaos aspect disappear, but it helps you hone in on finding who the imposters are, where your intuition finding out who the snakes, fakes, and liars are, right? Who you know what I'm saying? Who the people who are out here acting, evil and doing these dastardly deeds, right? So the game does help you in that regard. Okay, so what do you mean? So even if the answer is no, Maddie, like for your GPA, like even if we do get a no answer, okay, I don't want you to think it's the end of the world, okay? Um and I know, like, that means you'll have to do your finals and everything like that, but that is just another opportunity for you to grow. Okay, so don't look at it in a negative aspect. Okay, um, I mean, we haven't answered the question yet because I'm gonna do it for you privately, but um, yeah, it's because it's the name that's connected to your energy. Right, because I have, when I do the readings, I do have to tap in to your energy. Okay, um, try to answer like so many different questions. But yeah, so for the conscious game night, right? The rules are in the Discord. So if you download Discord and you go in the Discord server, which is in the Linktree link still, with all the social medias, right? Discord is in there. Read the rules of the game, okay? Like I said, if you can't tell me what color is on the back of this card, you need to be with me on Friday night playing the conscious game night so that we can strengthen your intuitive gifts, that we can help you trust yourself. Okay, like I said, there are questions that we integrate, do the integration with, are in the Discord as well. So with the rules and how the game works, all of that is in there. The rules, the questions we do after each round, okay, and then everything else you need to know about the game is more like go as you play. You know what I'm saying? That's that's fine. That's fine, hon. Go ahead. Yeah. That's why I say where I ask for your name if you is just because I it's the name that's attached to your energy. Okay. Especially because I am tapping into your energy so that I can get an accurate read on what it is you need to know about. Like I said, most of the time, your soul already knows the answer. Um, it's only like if you're trying to gauge about the future, right, or uncertain things, that it's more like, oh, okay. But it's, you know, your situation, I feel like if have you been keeping up with your grades, like, and um checking them periodically throughout the year? Because if you've been doing that, and you throughout the year it hasn't been too bad, right? I don't know, I'm a stickler, y'all. I'm a stickler. Okay. And I wasn't always that way, to be honest with you. In high school, I really was like, this is so easy. I didn't challenge myself in high school, right? I don't know why I have neurodivergency. Not challenging myself was the problem. You know what I'm saying? Was my issue was I wasn't challenging myself. Right. I could have taken AP classes, honor classes, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, why though? Like in high school I was really like, why? Like why should I do that? I just need to graduate. Like that was my only like during high school I was really like, like I just need to pass. And I did with the 3.2 GPA. You know what I'm saying? Could go to most of the colleges I wanted to go to. Anywhere I applied, I was like, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay. But it was like after my spiritual awakening, right? Now that school is tied into my destiny, it's like, oh, okay, and now I gotta be on these professors behind. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to my grades and stuff. Like I because I did like a year of college when your girl thought she was still gonna become a film director in Hollywood and everything, and then Spirit, God, Universe was like, yeah, actually, not where you're going. Okay, you're not going to Hollywood, babes. You're not. You're not. Don't think. Don't put it away. Don't think about any of the Oscars. None of that. Don't think about it, because that's not the direction I'm taking you in. Right. Instead, the direction was content. So you know what I'm saying. So it was like, you were sort of kind of right, but not really. So it was like, but anywho, and that year I really just focused on self and a little bit of the classes I went into, right? But after my spiritual awakening and everything like that, and going through the things and the lessons that I had to go through to strengthen my intuition, to strengthen my spiritual discernment, right? Dealing with real life, real world examples of those things, and dealing with voodoo partitioners. Oh, a whole good time. Good. The last 6 years have been so much fun. Anywho, right? So, anywho, now that I'm back in college, right, and knowing what my purpose is in college, and with school, right, now I'm a stickler. Now I'm a stickler. 4.0 GPA, and I'm like, you better grade those papers, professor, doctor. You better grade those papers. I'm paying you so that I can go to school. So you better do the work. And if my grade is what I wasn't expecting, because I will say something if I get a B, guys. I will say something. I'm gonna be like, so you gave me a B on this paper? Why? Why you give me a B on this? What's the problem? What are we doing? What? You're gonna need to tell me why you gave me that grade and what we can do to fix it. Because no, no, thank you. right? Yeah, which is a whole like 180 attitude towards school that I had back in high school in my first year of college, right? Where I was just like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I was getting through it. I was breezing through it. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like it was like I wasn't doing anything. It was just the fact that I just did not care about the outcome whatsoever. You know? So it was like, yeah. And I don't regret anything. You know what I'm saying? I was already hard enough as is on myself my senior year. Um, then also having to worry about wanting to get like closer to a 4.0 GPA. I just COVID hit during my senior year. I really did not care about high school. No, I will say I didn't play as much during my junior year and my senior year as I did my sophomore and my freshman year. My sophomore and my freshman year, oh man, I was okay with C's. I was okay with getting a C. I was okay with getting a D. I was okay with it. I was like, I passed the class, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Yeah, you know. It is what it is, right? But I was like, what? Like, yeah, junior year where I was like, hmm, maybe I should step it up just a tad. You know, I was like, I played around the first 2 years, and now I'm having to make up for it in the last two. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it was still like I didn't have to do much. I don't know. We could blame it on the ADHD, the autism. We can blame it on the neurodivergency and the spiciness of my brain and how it likes to connect dots differently than others. But I actually obviously was under challenged in school, and it made me just not care about it, right? Because it was set up that way, you know. I feel like God set it up that way, though. You know what I'm saying? Because if I would have actually like cared about school, I think it would have taken longer for my spiritual awakening to occur. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact that I just didn't, and then you know I didn't get a prom, you know what I'm saying, my graduation was whack. So you know it was like all those ideals of, you know, what I was supposed to get was literally like fractured. You know what I'm saying? So it was like if I had actually like had plans not to go to an artist college, you know what I'm saying? And like yes, because I am a very words. I can't get the C out right because whatever. Anyhow, if I wasn't going to a very like artist major college, you know what I'm saying? Like if I was actually into science the way I'm into science now back then, right? It wouldn't have set up things the way it needed to, right? Honestly, to be honest with you guys, I had a love-hate relationship with science. And it was because of my teachers. I'll be so honest with you. It was because my teachers made science boring, okay? Or they always had a problem with me because of course, you know what I'm saying, like I said, I didn't really care about school. I was barely paying attention and I was still coming out with the B in the class. So, you know, teachers, of course, you know what I'm saying, you're not even paying attention in class. How are you still getting a good grade? First off, I don't like you. Second off, second off, your class is stupid easy. Leave me alone. like like that was my, that's why I had such a love-hate relationship with science, because it was like I really did not like my science teachers. Like they did not make science fun until junior year, until my junior year, right? That's when junior year, senior year, I got science teachers who actually gave a freak about science and actually wanted it to be fun, right? The first 2 years, y'all hate y'all jobs, it's obvious. Y'all hate children, it's obvious. Go somewhere. Like Please don't be teaching anymore. We don't need you in the school system if this is how you act, right? You lost your spark, your vision for teaching a long time ago, and you need to go because we aren't tolerating that here, right? So literally the first 2 years, cranky science teacher. It was like physical science and stuff like that. So it was like always cranky, yada yada yada. I probably skipped that class so many times. I can't even count how many times I skipped that class, y'all. But because it was the teacher's attitude. The teacher didn't want to teach, didn't like kids, didn't want to talk about science. Therefore, why would I be in your class? Right? It doesn't really make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me then. It still doesn't make sense to me now. If you don't like what you do and you're sitting here and you're trying to teach kids, right, to even give a flippin' flying freak about it, and you got no energetic, you know what I'm saying? So how they supposed to feel some type of way about it if you don't feel some type of way about it? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's why, the school system needs to be entirely reworked. And if you don't like teaching kids, then you probably should not be a teacher. If you lose if you lose why the vision, okay, why you became a teacher, everything, if it literally drains you to that point, quit and find a new profession. No, you went and got a degree in it, but you gotta do not do that to the kids. That's not fair to them, right? But yeah, so that's what I experienced freshman year. Sophomore year, we was always okay. My biology teacher, right? Which crazy because my biology professor, right? Biological foundations professor was a very, very cool guy. You know what I'm saying? Total nerd. I don't care. I love nerds. And and like always geeking, okay, over the lesson. Like now he told us, his unfavorite lesson to teach us, and it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, at least he's honest that this isn't his favorite subject to teach. But every other subject we learned in that class, bro came in with a smile on his face, ready to teach, right? So like, imagine, I got an A in that class. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we would even talk about it, and I got a recommendation letter from that professor. So you know what I'm saying? Obviously I clicked with somebody who actually wanted to teach science in a way that made it fun, right? Versus my biology teacher in sophomore year of high school who acted like it was a literal drag to teach about biology, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I skipped class. You know what I'm saying? Like a sophomore biology teacher, I'm not sorry, because my college professor was way better than you. Okay. But, so I'm not sorry for skipping your class and still getting a B. Not sorry. Okay. How many times did I go to the bathroom and then stay in the bathroom for a good 20-35 minutes on my phone? And I was like, yeah, oh, it's about that time, and let me go back in. Swip back in. Oh, the bell rang. Oh my goodness, it's time for me to pack my stuff up. Oh, crazy. Like that wasn't the plan the whole time. Right? So like, how many times did I do that during high school? Like, guys, if I didn't like their class, I was not in their class. Okay. Okay. Right. So junior year, right, when I took chemistry, which is why I went to get my PhD in chemistry, was because of that class right there. Sis was amazing. She was an excellent teacher, right? And she made science fun again. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like I literally wasn't sophomore year. Probably science was my like least favorite. It was literally the one that I literally wanted to just be out of my way. You know what I'm saying? I was like, screw science. You know what I'm saying? Like, then it was like the switch up junior year, and I was like, science is actually kind of fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, okay. And then we actually got to do like you work with different chemicals and like see like how that stuff works and how the different components interact with each other, and it was like, oh my goodness, this is actually low key like like I like science, but it wasn't enough to make it my major yet. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't enough to make it my major. Right, but it was then senior year I took a forensics class, and I was like, ooh, ooh, I like science, you know? I like science. It's nice. This is nice. Why did no one ever talk to us about these things? You know what I'm saying? Growing up, like, why did we have to wait this long to know about these kind of sciences, right? And I always like, oh, because you know, as you get older, you can handle harder topics, but our brains are sponges from a very young age. And if you taught us rocket science at the age of 6 or 7, 8, 9, we'd be like, okay, you too, hun. We'd be like all the way up here. You know what I'm saying? Like our intelligence level would be unmatched, okay, as a species. Okay. If we were learning rocket science at 7, 8, 9 years old versus trying to learn rocket science after the frontal lobe is fully developed, you know. Like you're trying to learn rocket science at 20, at above 25. Now it's like right, but you could have learned rocket science when you were 7. Like, you know, a lot easier for you because it would have been a lot easier for you to retain the information, for you to actually understand the information, right? And then, you know, produce results on the information. They just try to like make it seem like you only get smarter as you get older. And it's like, wisdom does not count with age. Okay? All right? If you want to send $1 to the Cash App or PayPal in the Linktree link, um, I can go ahead and answer that simple yes or no question for you, hon. Okay, but yeah, guys. So, like I said, it's not always been like this loving relationship with science, my entire life, right? Like I said, forensics teacher. He also was a really good teacher. Um, and what you call it? I feel like that was like one of the chillest classes too. Especially since I took it my senior year. I felt like that was my chill science class. Because I was trying to go for my honors, but like I said, y'all, I did not I did not put that much effort into high school. Right. Still got a 3.2 GPA. It's just that I wasn't challenging myself because I didn't see the need to. I didn't see like the point in challenging myself in high school. Like it never clicked for me, right? And it was never like the indoctrination never actually indoctrinated me. You know what I'm saying? I never fully got indoctrinated into the system, basically, right? Because of how I viewed the school system. And I watched a lot of Rick and Morty, so you know what I'm saying. Right, so like especially with all the TV shows and movies that came out during my time as a kid, right? It made very much the school system be like, what are we doing again? What are we working to achieve again? To work until we perish, until our bodies crumble and fall apart. That's why I went in, and that's why I was like, no, I'm gonna become a film director. You know what I'm saying? I'll make it out. I'm not doing that. I can't live that way, and I still can't live that way, y'all. I still can't. I still can't. So you said, well, I don't know what to do for you, but yeah, like I don't know what to do for you, hun. Um, I have no clue what to do for you. It sounds like a personal situation that I have no advice to give. Okay, none. Right. But yeah, guys. So yeah, it seems like rage bait in the chat. So I'm not even gonna address it. But yeah, guys. So I am gonna call it here. 12:22. What time was thought it would at least been 30 minutes. Um, But if you guys ever need a reading, okay, um, know that you can DM me, right? If you are financially secure, it is $5 or $10. If you are financially insecure, right, just tell me your situation. Okay, what's going on that makes it so that you can't invest right into your journey, and that way we can really get to working on what we need to work on with you. Okay, not just what messages that can you be can be brought forth through the divine, but also making sure that you are able to grow, learn, and evolve, and you're able to do these things um, without me. Okay, I'm just here to guide you to your highest self, so your higher self can guide you. Okay, that's it. Eventually, there'll be a day when I don't have to teach anymore. There'll be a day. There'll be a day. Right? That's what I mean. I'm like, yeah, saying with a partner, you know what I'm saying? There'll be a day where I meet someone who I don't have to teach any of this to. That'd be the day. That will be the day because I'm not going to marry somebody I have to teach everything that I teach to you guys to. Right? I'm just it's not happening. Right? It's not happening. That is so draining for me to be in a relationship where it's like I can you could just get on my live streams and I could teach you about everything that I know, but I'm not going to be in a relationship with you because I have to teach you all this. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against anybody learning, but it's just that I'm in a place in my journey where I don't want to constantly have to tell somebody what the Carnelian law is, right? What is a spiritual warfare? What is, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to, I'm not, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to marry somebody who I have to literally disclose. This is the first time you're hearing about what an empath is. Oh, God, please. I love you, but go ahead and just join the live stream, fam, because you need more of the education than you need to be in contact with my energy. You know what I'm saying? Like you like I can't. I'm sorry. Like and I feel like it's unfair to myself for me to even think about marriage with somebody who doesn't have the slightest clue on spirituality. Um Right. And Sama, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat, okay? So it's just like that's just my thing. So it's like when I don't have to teach you this information, right? If seriously, I don't want there to be anything like for my divine partner, I don't want to have to teach you a single thing, bro. I would like us to both be on the same wavelength where we can only go up from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, because if I had to teach, that's why I make content to teach. You know what I'm saying? Right? To make sure that we are growing, learning, evolving. Okay, from all the way from the basic spiritual knowledge all the way to advanced. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that we understand it from the simple points all the way to the very very complex points. Okay, so it's just I don't mind doing that with y'all, but just know, like, whenever y'all hear me, okay, talk about your girl getting married and stuff like that, it will definitely be with somebody who holds and shares the same knowledge as I do, right? And I didn't have to teach them anything, okay, about this journey, right? Master alchemist, everything. Like I didn't even gotta teach you about alchemy. Right. You send a $1 through the Cash App? Okay, period. Period. Did I see a notification? Okay, let me pause TikTok. No, that's not what I was trying to do. What happened? Swipe, swipe. This way? Is it this way? Hello? Okay, wait. Uh, hold on, hon. Now I'm trying to. when your phone just wants to do with the iPhone. Okay, wait. It's like it's frozen now. Okay. Well, I can't pause it, so it's fine. If it goes off, that's also fine. Can't do nothing about that. See, it's like stuck on this screen. So weird. Okay. All right. So you hope you send it to the right person. If did you go, William? Did you go to the Linktree link that's in my bio? Right, you have to either copy paste that link or type the link into a web browser, right? I think there's a clickable link in the community page. If you go to the community page and you go to the weekly announcements, there's a clickable link on there so that you don't have to do that extra stuff. You can just click on it and you'll be on the web, on the Linktree link. Okay, so you got, it was, you sent it to um ATRTHE, right? That stands for the art, guys. I wanted to put the art, but you know what I'm saying? It was already taken. So I just put art, spelled art a different way, and put the at the back. I had to think of something, guys. But yeah, you use that one. Oh, huh. Hello? Yeah, I don't have anything coming through on my end, hun. So double check and make sure you sent it to the right one, okay? If if the hello? Hold on. Let me figure why this isn't moving. Like, I'm not joking. Like, swipe to the left, swipe to the right, like swipe. Nothing's happening. And then if I like swipe too close to the little thing, it just makes the entire app, you know? Well, it looks like I'm going to have to figure this out. How did the wish queue come out, but nothing else is coming out? Swipey, swipey. Well, all right. Let me close TikTok. And William, let me know. So, okay. I think. Mm. Sorry. Let me try again. Okay. Sorry. No, this post was very interesting. Very interesting. Because I've been looking into the GATE program recently. And yeah. A lot has been resurfacing. All right, I want to see if you're getting that up and running. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let me know down in the chat. I'm answering back to some of our soul tribe that DM me. I told them I would get back to them after the live. And since the TikTok live went down because it froze, I guess, I don't know. But you know, this is where we're at, y'all. Yeah, so I gotta do these in a second here. Welcome in, welcome in. Just trying to see if William, give you like. What's that one movie? You know what I'm talking about? You know the fair. Oh, I've done the wrong thing. Let me know. Let me know. Give it a couple more minutes here. What I say? Give you like to like 36. Okay. So I gotta wait. Welcome in, welcome in. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Okay, I do want to know. Oh, okay. That one card that always gets mixed up in the wrong pile. Let me know down in the chat how y'all doing, how y'all feeling. William, hun, I'm gonna give you one more minute to figure that out. If you still having issues with it, then just DM me in the Discord, Instagram, or TikTok that you can find in that same link that you find the Cash App and PayPal in. Okay, and we'll get you situated. Okay, so we'll figure out what's going on there, right? Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty, so I am gonna call it for today. Alrighty, I hope you guys have a blessed day. Okay, it's okay, hon. It's all right. If you can reach out to me and DM me anytime. If you do ever figure it out, okay, if it starts working, if I see a notification or anything like that, I will let you know next time I see you. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with it. Um, but yeah, it's all right. Yep. I hope you have a blessed day. Remember, guys, we do speak love, justice, and peace into this world. Okay. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is conscious game night. Okay. If you want to strengthen your intuitions and strengthen your spiritual discernment, okay, then be there. All right. Goodbye. I did not press the button. It'd be like